2 anything remaining? 2, you have cloud computing, cloud deployment and service models, AWS global infrastructure, AWS services, ways to access. So you have been seeing, right, how we are accessing AWS services, right?
Yeah.
So like we have tried with the command line interface, right? We have also tried with Amazon console directly, right?
Yes.
So we know 2 ways so far, right, to access AWS services. Correct?
You mean to say like a virtual desktop and the command line interface, both are the same, right? Virtual and
No, one option to access AWS console is we just go to aws.amazon.com. So the very first way to access is you just sign in. All of you can do this. So you come to AWS Management Console, right? So this is the first thing that we learned, that we can access the AWS resources from the AWS Management Console, right?
yeah.
So we have all the resources, all the services available here. So from here, say like we want to go to EC2 or we want to go to S3, right? So we have been going from here, right? So this is one way. Another way is that you talked about. So we created a Windows instance, right? So just assume that that Windows instance we just created because we didn't want to do any installation in our laptop. So for that reason, we created Windows instance, and from Windows instance, we connected to AWS CLI. So just assume that whatever Windows instance we created, that is your own laptop or that is your own machine. So just assume like that, and then from there we connected to AWS CLI. So in real environment, you don't need to create instance in order to go to AWS CLI. So in your machine, whatever you are using, so in the same system, you can just configure, you can install, and you can start using AWS CLI. So that is another mechanism where you don't have to come to AWS Management Console and directly say like you created bucket, you just know try to copy things in the bucket without coming to this management console, right? Everyone on the same page?
Yeah.
Yes, Harish.
Yeah, in that you had to see whether buckets are there. You had to find out whether your files are copied. So you could come here and see, or you can see from there as well. So one mechanism to access the services is through management console. Another mechanism that you have seen is from using CLI, AWS CLI, right? So apart from that, you have another method like SDK, software development kit, right? For different software development kit will be there, environment will be there. So from there you can connect. So far we have been discussing about these things, basics. Hands-on, we have done AWS free tier account, bucket through console, S3 bucket through AWS CLI, and launching an EC2 instance. So this Windows instance we launched successfully and used, right?
Yeah.
And Linux instance we have been launching, and we are using trying to find out the different methods, right? So last time we connected to Amazon Linux, we created instance and directly we connected right through the console itself. Some Ubuntu we created, and that also we connected directly through the console itself, right? So these two things are supported there by Amazon, right? In the console, these vendors have the certain settings, and then Amazon is supporting that. But for Red Hat, no, we have launched the instance, and we are yet to connect, right?
Yep.
So that we will be doing today, right? So that will be doing today. So here also we have done this module 3. So let's do that first, and then we'll come, and then once that is finished, then we'll come here to module 3 and 4. So we'll check what all things we know, right? And then what all things are remaining, then accordingly we can do it. Right. So what we'll do today, so we'll now connect to our, see this one, spinning windows we have done, Linux we will do. So we are doing, I think we should have that instance, and then we connected using RDP last time, Windows machine, and using PuTTY, we'll connect to the Linux machine. So this we will do. Okay, so please go to AWS Management Console, everyone. And let me know you are there.
Yes, Harish.
Yeah.
All are there?
Yeah.
Yes, Harish.
Okay. So here you just click on this or right click and open in a new tab if you wish. Just go to this.
Okay.
So this is called EC2 dashboard or EC2 console. So here you get all the features and all the resources which are related to your EC2 instance, or you want to create an instance, you have like instances, you have volumes here, you see 2 key pairs are there. So it shows running instances 0 as of now. But when we click on this, right, we see 2 are there, stopped condition.
Yeah.
Okay, so you all have 2 or you have only 1?
2.
It's
2.
2, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see this instance, this Windows instance is related to US East 2A, and this RHEL 8 is US East 2C. So this has got created in 2C availability. Both are in the same region, US East 2, that is Ohio. US East 2, this particular region is Ohio. However, no, I have it in 2 different availability regions. That means instances are confined to availability region, right? So you have instances associated with availability regions. So fine, what we do today is you select this RHEL 8.
Yeah, Harish.
Okay, so you notice I have just renamed, I have given some name here.
Yeah,
To
yes.
avoid any confusion, you all, if you wish, you can give a name here. Because last time, we launched multiple instances and then we are finding it difficult. We had to come down and see this RHEL, this AMI, from which AMI we created and like that. So to avoid any confusion, better to give some meaningful name here.
How to edit that?
Pardon?
Can we give there only? Yeah, got it.
Yeah, here only you just go there and just
Yeah.
use it like this. Just click it and then just give some name and then click on this tick mark.
Yeah, got it.
So just before you give name, you just cross check. Here you see
Okay.
AMI ID. AMI ID, RHEL 8. So just give name RHEL 8. Then you just
I'm not
check.
able to see the names here. I have changed the name, but here nothing is showing.
Did you give the name? Then you have to click on this. See, once you click, you give name and then click on this tick mark.
Yeah, I did that. I mean,
Once you click, then it will come.
yeah, like yours is showing, right? Name Windows 2 2019 RHEL 8. Mine is names are blank.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. So you have to, what you do, you just click on one of the instances. Say like first one.
Yeah, I did that. I mean, I have selected the first one.
Okay. Now what you do, just come down here and see, right, AMI ID and let me know. Here.
Where?
Here.
AMI ID.
Yeah.
AMI ID.
Windows?
It's blank.
AMI ID cannot be blank.
1 second.
You have selected both instances or one?
I've selected one.
Okay. Then you just come down.
It is AMI ID is there, yeah.
Windows or Linux?
This is showing RHEL 8.
RHEL 8, right? So
Yeah.
now what you do, whatever you will find there, say like this is RHEL, right? So now you just click on this pencil.
Yeah, but why I'm not able to see the names here?
Because I have given the name, that's why it is there. If you don't give name, then it won't be there. See, I also don't have. Okay,
Hmm.
let me also remove. So I have removed. So I also don't have name. Right now it is okay. Now we are on the same page. Now what
Okay.
you do, select the first one.
Hmm.
Okay, so I am selecting the second one because my second one is RHLA. So I selected one, and then you see here in the AMI it is showing RHL 8. Do you see here RHL 8? Now
Yeah.
you click on this pencil.
Okay.
Once you click on the pencil, you just type there whatever you wish. RHL, or you can say
But my both the security group says Launch Wizard 2, RHL 8, AMI ID, the first
security
one.
group. You just leave it. Don't look at security group. Just look at AMI ID.
HEL 8, right?
Yeah, you can see Red Hat Linux. You can say like
Okay,
RHL 8,
okay.
whatever you wish. You just mention, and then you click on the tick mark.
Oh, I haven't clicked on the tick mark. Okay.
Okay, okay. So
And
like
the
this you can
second
do.
one is Windows, right?
You need to check.
Yeah, it's Windows.
So how you check?
In
Just select that
AMI
one,
ID.
deselect this, look at the AMI ID from which AMI you have created this. It says Windows Server 2019, right? So just click on this pencil, just write there Windows. And then maybe to be more specific, it's like 2019. So I will just say 2019. And then I will say tick mark, and then it shows. Everyone, you are able to give the name, no meaningful name here?
Yeah.
Yes, Harish. Yeah.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So now we have, there is no confusion between Windows and Linux, right? So now you just select this RHL 8, click on action, look at this instance state, and click on start. So once you click on start, another window will come, and you say yes, start. As soon as it is clicked properly, it will start showing that the instance state is pending and status check is initializing, right? So, and here you see it's moving, right? So it's busy, it is showing. Fine, then you just wait for a while and it should come in a running state. Everyone please do this.
Yeah, it's running for me, Harish, with
Oh,
2 by 2
good.
checks.
Good, very good.
Yeah, same for me, Harish. Yeah, it's running.
Apeksha?
Yes, Harish, it is running for me too.
Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. So once it is running and status checks 2 of 2, then let me know others, all others.
Mine is running, but initializing is correct.
Okay, Urvashi, exactly same like mine. Mine is also initializing.
Yeah.
So it may take another 30 seconds or something, it will come. Okay, so once the system status checks are proper, then what we will do, you remember last time I was telling to download Puttigen, right? Putty, right? So, and I had also explained about encryption, right? So what is public key, cryptography, how encryption works, what is the benefit of encryption, how we can do that public key, private key, the concept, how we can use, right? So, and then from on that Windows instance, you download Putty and Puttigen both, and then from that Windows instance, you try to connect to this Linux instance, right? So you can do that as well. I have no problem.
How you will tell us, right? How we'll download the in the Windows.
And this Windows and that Windows same, no? See, whether this Windows or that Windows will be same, right? So
Okay.
like that, you just, what you do is you just click on that and you can start that instance. You can know, but the only thing is you have to continue to run both of these instances and again this will be, this is 30 GB and that one is 10 GB. So it will be 40 GB. Anyways, you are keeping it off for the rest of the time. So fine, you can do that. So you just start your Windows instance as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that should not be any issue, but no, you are so much concerned. So that's why, I'm giving you this option. You're simply
Yeah,
downloading. You're not installing. If you install, then that is not good. There will be vulnerability. Something you are downloading, some file you are downloading, like that only that is.
okay. So what should I do? I mean,
Maybe we can check with Devashish here. No. So let me just give me a moment. Check.
yeah.
I have resumed recording, right? So please go to this everyone putty.org, and there you see first hyperlink here. Click on this here, open in a new tab. Here you just go to this website, chat.greenend.org.uk. You come here.
Harish,
download.
1 second.
Yeah.
He has told me, okay, I can download, but I can delete it later on. So
Okay.
now what I have to do here, so I have actually started running both the instances. So shall I stop the Windows one first?
Yes, please. Yeah, that you can do. Because unnecessarily 2 instances will be consuming bandwidth, and again you will be having that this 30 GB and this is 40 GB, another 10 GB something, right? So that will cross the limit of 30 GB. We are supposed to use only 30 GB for free tier. So if you use 40 GB, again that will be additional cost, right?
So what I write to in the what I restricted?
Select this Windows.
No, I did that.
And
I have
stopped.
No, that I did that. How to download this putty?
Yeah, so this I just explain here. So what we can do here is we will go to putty.org. That's it.
1 second. Putty.org, right?
Yeah, putty.org.
What is the use of putty actually, basically?
This is a client, right? So you just see here it is mentioned putty is an SSH and telnet client. So you want to, the purpose of this lab is to connect to the server that is running in the AWS. So we have our own server, right, running in AWS. You see here, if you just go to AWS EC2 console, so you have this RHEL8, this Linux server running here, right? So you want to connect to that server, right? So how to connect to that server from your machine, right? So you have your server kept somewhere in the cloud. So how do you connect to your server? Without connecting, you cannot work on your server. So for that reason, you have this putty. So this putty is a telnet client, SSH client. So using this, some people call it putty, some people call it putty. So as you wish, you can pronounce. Most of the people would be saying putty. So you can download this. This is a client to connect to your. You can connect to your server instance, right? So it's an open source software that is available. Please go on mute those who are talking in the background. Please go on mute. So this is open source software available with source code and developed by volunteers. So this is a tool to connect to your server. Am I clear?
Yeah.
So from here, you just click on here, you come to the another website, and from here you can download this putty.exe. So 64-bit, you have it here. So simply click on this and download this one. So we are not downloading the installer. We will not do installation. We are downloading the exe. We'll simply use this to connect to our own instance for training purpose. So once we use it, we'll delete it. So
It
this
is
what,
asking host name and everything.
No, you just download it and keep it, right? Another thing you download is puttigen.exe from the same website, this 64-bit. Once you have these two things, right,
Hmm.
in your machine, please let me know.
Yeah.
Everyone,
Yeah.
Vikas
Yes.
is
Yeah.
having,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all
Yes,
others, Sai
Harish.
also
Yeah.
you have,
Yes, Harish, it
Apeksha.
is
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yes, Harish, it is there.
Okay, perfect. So, Urvashi, once it is finished, please let me know this part. 64-bit you download.
Yeah, I've downloaded.
Downloaded, right? Perfect. So now just close it. And what you do here, for me, like it is there already by default, it is installed in my system. So I have Partition here in Windows 10. I have not installed it. I have it. So you double click on Putty keys generator, Puttigen. Everyone,
Yeah.
It's asking generate load
no. Please don't do anything. Please come to this page and be here.
Yeah.
page. Okay, this page.
Everyone. Now just remember last time we had downloaded, right, a key. I had kept it in day 4 Amazon Linux ec2.pem. Do you all have this?
No.
Yeah, Harish.
Please check everyone.
Yeah, .pem is there. Yeah.
12th modification date 12th July.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Harish, it is there.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Just to validate, you all have, so close it. It's not needed here. So now what you have to do is in this page. So what I have told, one time I had given a demo that we can generate a key pair and we can use it. So that is one purpose. But another purpose is to convert the type of the key from PEM to PPK, right? So I had, towards the end of the class last time, I was telling about .pem and .ppk, right? So PEM is privacy enhanced mail format and PPK is putty private key format. So what we are going to do here is this putty, right, will be understanding a different format. So we will be using puttigen, right, to convert that PEM to PPK, right, so that we can use putty to connect to our instance on EC2, right? So on this particular page, you don't have to click on anything, generate or something. We are not going to generate key here. What we are going to do, load an existing private key file, right? Because just remember, we have key pair already. When we created instance, while before launching the instance, it asks us to download, right? Key, right? Key, remember?
Yeah.
Downloaded and kept. Now we will be using the same thing,
Full
right? And we were also discussing that public key is used for encrypting and private key is used for decrypting. Now
Yeah.
that public key is already kept on our server, right? And now that private key we are having, using this private key, we will be able to connect to our instance, which is already running. So let's click on load button. Go to the folder where you have that PEM. Just come here and here you say it's looking for PPK. Just come here, say all files, and you have .pem, select it. Once you select, please let me know.
Still
Yeah,
successfully.
Harish.
Selected, everyone?
One
No,
second,
Harish.
Harish.
Anybody
Just-
facing any challenge, not finding it or something?
No, I'm
Just
not able to find actually here.
Urvashi?
All files, okay.
Yeah, just say all files here, then it will show.
Hmm.
same here, Harish. Even I'm not able to find.
Apeksha?
Yeah.
Apeksha, so what you have to do is,
Okay.
you remember the path where you kept it?
Yeah, it is still in downloaded only.
Okay, then you click on load, you go to that downloads, okay?
Okay.
It will be there, select it, but if it is not showing, you just come here and say all files. Then it will
Okay.
show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me know if it shows.
Yeah, it is showing now.
Perfect. So if it shows, then you say open. If you say open, it says successfully imported foreign key, open SSH to private key, old PEM format. To use this key with PuTTY, you need to use the save private key command to save it in PuTTY's own format. Now you should understand the purpose, what we are doing and why we are doing. It's written here. Please go through it and understand what we are doing.
Successfully imported foreign key. Use the key with PuTTY to save.
Making sense?
Yeah.
Yes. So now it will know what we are going to do, what we have to do. That instruction also written here only very clearly. Save private key we have to do after this. So if you forget at any point of time, please focus on the screen, right? It will be very much clear. So successfully imported foreign key, right, as private key, old PEM format. So that was old PEM format. So earlier, no, this no certifying agencies and certificate authorities were there. So they used to use this PEM format for sending and sending keys and no sending certificates and all. So that PuTTY will convert it to own format. So this PuTTYgen is going to help PuTTY in using the key in PPK format. So now you have to say okay, and what you have to do next? Nothing you have to just you have to click on save private key. Everyone, don't click anywhere. Please click on save private key. Then it says, are you sure you want to save this key without a passphrase to protect it? So what it says is, apart from the key, right, you can additionally give some passphrase if you wish, but we are not doing it. We simply say yes. Now it's asking, where do you want to save it, right? And what should be the name? So I'm saying RHEL8, right? I'm giving RHEL8. Or you can give in small also, RHEL8, your choice. Just give some name. Let it be RHEL8.
Save
And
as
then
type as PPK.
simply don't need to type anything. It's already save as type written. Leave it like that. So now I'll keep that. I have just created another day file. So I'm just keeping there. Right? You can keep wherever you can remember. Okay. So I'm clicking on save. Saved it. Now, nothing to do with this window, right? It has helped us in converting the PEM to PPK. Close it. Once it is closed, please go and see what is there in day 5. So see, I have RHEL8.ppk. Okay. So this is called PuTTY private key, PPK. Fine. Okay. Now close this also. Now what we are going to do, we need another tool that is called PuTTY. This is the actual key. So I have this PuTTY here as an app, right? So what I will do, I'll just click it. So I have this one. Okay. Now I have some saved session, right? So Red Hat 1 or something. So fine, no worries about this. I'll just tell you how to do this also. So just click delete it, no problem. Now what you do is, now you go to connection SSH So here you just check. Auth will be there. Go to auth, all of you.
Connection.
No connection. Just go to directly to click on this SSH
Yeah.
Okay. Auth.
and go to auth. Click this auth.
SSH.
Once you click on auth, please let me know.
I have clicked here. Here it is showing GGS.
No problem. Just click on auth. That's it.
Hmm.
You should have this window exactly same as what I have.
Okay.
Okay, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just see the last one, private key file for authentication. We have it, right? So we have to click on browse. Click on browse. I kept it in day 5. So I'll go to day 5 and that I have one, right? And I double click on that or I say open. That path will come here. Everyone, please do it and then let me know.
Harish, I didn't get after auth.
Simply click on auth
Huh?
and then see what opens here is private file
The
for
right.
authentication.
No, the right side window is not coming like that for me.
No, you have selected auth or you have clicked on TTY. Click on auth.
Okay, yeah, got it. Yeah. Browse.
So once you select this auth, you will have this option where it will show private key file for authentication.
Harish, I have a different version of Putty. That is okay, right?
Yeah, should be okay.
Any version is okay, right?
Yeah. Just let's try. If it doesn't work, then we'll get the another version, right? So not an issue. Let's try that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
need to
click on
click on
auth.
open, right?
Pardon, Sai?
Yeah, I am there actually. I
Perfect.
am near to browse.
Perfect.
So now open.
Click on browse and select that
Yes.
.ppk that we have just created. Click on open.
Okay.
Yeah, Harish, I'm done.
Okay. Now you click on, now what else you can configure? You have a lot of things. So later, at a later point, you can just check all of them. You see here data is there. Here auto login username you can mention. So for Red Hat, it was EC2-user. You can mention here data, connection, data, click on data. You see auto login username is also written there. You just say EC2-user.
Harish.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me actually, I'm not able to click on the OK button.
Which OK button?
Like after I give the browse, right? Open button. Maybe I'm using Office laptop. That is why I think.
No. Don't click on open button as of now, please. Did I ask to click on open button? No, right?
Oh,
Yes.
like after browse,
Please
we
do
did.
not. Please do not click. Please follow the instructions very strictly.
Okay. So
Okay.
once we did the browsing, so where should...
See, in auth Sai, we simply clicked on browsing. Here, select it. Here, this open is not working for you.
No, that worked.
Okay, perfect. Then please wait. Please wait. Please do not click on this open button. We are not yet there. Okay. So now in auth section, you have added the key, that private key that you have created, you browsed, and that path is shown here, right? So that RHL 8 is shown here. This is one thing that I suggested. Now you please, under connection, you go to data. There you can give the auto login username.
Harish, 1 second. Harish, I have a doubt. Okay, so here, I have gone into. Here I went into private key for authentication. Okay, I browsed and then I went on the file which I have downloaded, RHEL8PPK. So here I need to open this file, right?
You just double click on the file, no? It will come like this.
Oh, okay.
Okay, everyone here?
Yeah, yes, Harish.
Okay, now you please click on data under connection. Everyone.
Okay.
Everyone done? Sai, you are here?
Yeah, Harish.
Okay, perfect. Apeksha?
Yes, Harish, I'm there.
Perfect. So we are here. Here you just in data, you see auto login username. So I don't want to enter login name again and again while connecting to my instance, right? So I'm just giving auto login username. Just mention EC2-user. Because for connection, you need what? Username and password. So in place of password, we are using private key, right? But username will be required. So please put username here so you don't have to enter. Done?
So this is
Yeah.
only we can put EC2-user.
This is the user created there. So this is what you have to put. If you create more users in your system on your server, that username you have to put here, right?
Okay.
So here the user by default created for RHEL8 is EC2-user. For other, no, say like, so for, if you are using different AMI, say like Amazon Linux 2 or whatever, so Ubuntu, so you have to see which user has been created there. So if it is the root user, you have to put root here. If it is Ubuntu, you have to put Ubuntu. So whatever is the username, so for our AMI, right? So by default, this user gets created, right? So you just put this and then you come up like this. Okay, so window line of scroll back is 2000s. It's okay. I just add a couple of more zeros here and then it's not necessary for you. Just come to session. Now in this session, on the very first thing, session, please click on that, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Others?
Yeah, yes, Harish, we are there.
Okay,
Yeah,
good. Good. So now what you have to do is you have to go to the console, and in console you have to look for the public IP, right, or the fully qualified domain name. So you see public DNS, this name you can use, or this public IP, this you can use. So one day, Urvashi, you were asking public key and private key, public IP, private IP, right? So
Yeah.
this is a public IP of your instance, right? From anywhere. If you want to connect to your instance, your server, so this is a public IP from outside. This is outside address. Outside people can know your machine by this IP, and even from your machine, right, you can reach to this particular server of yours using this publicly available IP. So just copy this public IP.
This
Just click
public
on this
IP.
icon. It will say copied. Like that, it should come.
Okay.
Everyone done?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
Harish.
Now come to your putty, and in that putty, in place of host name, Sai, you are there?
Yeah, Harish.
Yeah. So now put that public IP here in the save the session window. No, here you just mention RHEL8 for your reference. Just type it step by step. Please do it, everyone. Put the IP here and put the name here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everyone,
yes,
and
Harish.
then click on save. Click on save. It should come here.
Yes, it is there.
Okay. See, next time when you reboot your machine, right, this IP will change. However, you have already added key, you have already added username, right? You can change other appearance or something. So all those things, right? When you give this name and click on save, so all other things will be saved in the putty. So you don't have to attach key every time. You don't have to mention username every time. Simply what you have to do, once you come back here, just click on this RHEL8, click on load, whatever changes you have made, everything will be loaded. Then you change the IP address. Next time, whatever will be the new IP address of your instance, simply put that IP address, right? And it by default, the port is 22. And then you click on open, Sai. Now you can click on open and it should work.
Okay,
Please,
Harish.
yeah, try this, everyone. Put this IP, port is by default 22, RHEL8, you have saved it, right? And now you click on open and you see it will ask server's host key is not cached in the registry. You say yes. Now you see what happened? Connected, right?
Hmm.
This is what you should get. This is how you should connect to your server using private key. So this is,
So what we have to do here, I have saved. It was in SSH and then RHEL8 that has been saved. Now open.
yeah.
I got some error, Harish.
Connection timed out for me.
For me,
Okay.
fatal error, something I got.
Even for me, I got the error, Harish.
Okay.
Like
Okay. So
network
For
or
me,
I'll
it's
something.
help.
just a
I'll help.
blank.
Okay, I'll help. No problem. So what may be the problem is the security. You whatever last time you had chosen
Address.
security group, your IP addresses, your whatever things are there, right? So your own IP address from where you allowed, you made changes for inbound rule, all those might have changed, right? So what you have to do, I'll just guide you. 1 second. Let me close this session. I closed my session also. Now you, Ranjita remembers, right? Ranjita will tell, right, how to look for the security group associated with RHEL 8.
Yeah, we just have to go to instances, Harish. Click on instances there.
Here also there, no, Ranjita?
Where? Okay. Oh, sure.
This may be
Yeah.
quicker, right? Can we
Yeah.
try from
Yeah.
here?
Okay.
Let's try from here. View inbound rules. Oh, it's showing here. Okay, it is just to view.
Okay.
Okay, so outbound, that is different. Okay, so fine. Then in that case, we have to follow what Ranjita says. So Ranjita, please guide us. We can go through security group here also.
Oh, yeah. We have a link.
Okay, and other than that, you also know one more option. From where? From this EC2 dashboard only. You have it here also.
Correct.
Okay, okay. So from wherever you wish, right? So from wherever you wish, you will all reach in the same place. So click on security groups, right? And then you have a lot of some options here. So which one is yours? Can you remember? You see RHEL 8 is written here.
RHEL 8 is there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We just have to
Let's
see.
select this RHEL 8 maybe. No need to select. You just click on this.
Correct.
Oh, you see here some IP address will be there, everyone. So my IP address has not changed. It has remained same. I could connect. So all of you.
How do you compare, Harish? Like your IP address?
You can go to no, what is myip.com I had shown one day.
Correct.
Like that you can check. Or whatever is IP address of your system, no, you can just go to CMD and no, you can check IP address of your system, right?
Yeah.
Like that.
Harish, I have only Wizard 1 and Wizard 2.
Yeah, so yours may be Wizard 1. So you just see like this, you will have some date here, something will be there. You just do like this, it will show you. It was created on 7th, right? And this was 11th, sorry, 11th July, and this was 12th July. So it should be 12th July we had done last time.
Okay.
So I had given meaningful name RHEL 8 so that it is helping me today.
Yeah, mine 12th is for Wizard 2.
Okay, so please go to whatever security group you had created, or you have to again go to instance and see what is the security group. So
I'm not able to see the date here. How, I mean, there is default Wizard 1 and Wizard 2. So where
okay,
did
so
you see
just
the
go like
date?
this. Go like this. No, Urvashi, go like this. You'll have description. So description you will have like this. It will be like this. It is hidden. So just do like this.
It is coming VPC ID description. It's okay. It's hidden. Okay, 12th one is a Wizard 2. Okay.
So next time just give meaningful name, and you can also edit it and give meaningful name here also. So you can give like RHEL 8. No, SG security group RHEL 8. Here also you can give for reference. So that
But Harish, I need to open it, is it?
yeah, just click on this.
Okay. Here you are giving the name to this.
So here you see inbound rule. Yeah, name you can give, not an issue. And then
Edit inbound rules.
similarly, how we gave name now, you give name, and then you just click on edit inbound rule. So here SSH will be there. Everyone has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can say
Yeah.
Just
okay.
a second, Harish.
So whatever is there,
Yeah, Harish.
just see some IP is there, 122.32, some IP is there. Just delete and maybe you can add another one. Or you can just change there itself. So you can say like SSH, you delete whatever is there earlier, just choose SSH. So how it comes,
1
SSH.
second. Shall I delete it?
Yeah, you delete whatever are there. Like you may be having 1 or 2 more, delete everything. So you have what you need is SSH you need for port 22 and you need it from your IP, right? And you want this one and then you can give some description if you wish. So I just gave like SSH for me. This SSH is only for me and then I click on save rules. Okay.
Just a second, Harish.
Yeah.
After giving my IP, will it take my IP there?
Yeah, it will take.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to give anything as a description.
Yeah. That will take your public IP actually.
Okay. I should give anything else here, add rule or something? No,
Nothing. You simply click on save.
Okay.
Okay. So now you come back where your instance is. So you have your instances running.
Directly we can go to instances, right? EC2 dashboard and then instances.
Yeah. Click on EC2 dashboard. It's already there, RHEL 8.
Yeah.
So now see here, view inbound rules. You can view here. So view inbound rules. It's showing, view inbound rules. It's showing like RHEL 8, right? So my inbound rule is RHEL 8. That is the name. So it's showing here. Simply click somewhere.
I have not changed.
No problem. You have modified the inbound rule or not?
No, it's wizard 2. Can I go and modify?
No, just now you have not changed that IP?
IP I have changed, but name I have not changed. So name I can change still, right?
You can again change later. Just let's connect. And then we will.
RHEL, right?
Yeah.
RHEL.
Correct. Security group RHEL 8 I have mentioned. You can mention whatever you wish.
RHEL.
See, from there also we could come. No, instead of looking and wondering like how we can come. So this was the option. I just know. Ranjita.
It is not changing. I have changed, but still it is showing launch wizard 2.
No problem. We'll just do it. I'll just show you. So Ranjita, you see here security group. Ranjita.
Yes, Harish. It is like, yeah. RHEL.
Yeah, RHEL 8. So this is the name of my security group. This is view inbound rule. This is view outbound rule. But RHEL 8, no, directly if you click, it will take to the same place. So this will be easy, right?
Okay. Okay.
This is easy. Yeah. So then you can click on that.
It is easy.
This is easy. This is better. Yeah. Multiple options are there for doing same thing.
But it just, Harish, one thing I just want to ask, if it's not an issue. So here in security group, I suppose I didn't change the name and I went again, I've changed the name. When I'm clicking on launch wizard, there it is showing RHEL 8. Here it is showing launch wizard 2. So is it so if I'll refresh, it will come?
Yeah, it will come. See, this name what you have changed is external. This is just for your reference. See, this SG RHEL 8 is not coming for me also. What is coming for me is security group name. That name is this. So you have not changed this actually. So for you, that whatever wizard is there, no, that you created, that wizard only will be there. So this is for our reference. So how we are giving our EC2 a name, right? So like that only this name has come. This name, whatever I had given initially, so for you wizard or something. So for your reference, you please give a name here, meaningful name here, right? So should be okay. Here you give a meaningful name. You already gave?
I already gave RHEL,
Okay.
but 1 second, Harish. Just a minute, okay?
Yep.
Security group, I'll go and okay. Here in Wizard, also you can change the name, is it?
No,
Wizard.
this is name we had given, like when we created, no, that time we had given, right? So it is referenced in multiple places. So this RHL8, whatever name we have given, so that is getting used here and there, right? So you can delete it and you can create new. That's not an issue. You can create new with RHL8 name if you wish. Otherwise,
How
for
to
no,
delete in action, I'll go and delete like that.
yeah, you can delete here. You can simply choose and delete it. And you can create a new one. Maybe we can do it, no, during break or something.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, or again we will be, you know, creating new security group. There will be some session.
I mean, I mean to say, if there is no issues, right? Will it
There is no
create
issue,
any
no? There is no issue. Any name is fine. That is
Okay.
just a name, just for your reference, because you will forget, right? Wizard 1, wizard 2, like that. Many will be created, so you will be not able to relate to it. So you should give meaningful name so that no, you understand it. Otherwise, whatever name is there, so this is for the system to use, but you can edit this name for your information, for your understanding, for relating to it, for changing some rule regulation. You will come here, so you'll think like what it is whether for Windows or this is for Linux or this is for what, so like that. So you can simply, you know, click on this, right? And you have that, you just edited inbound rule for that.
Yeah.
Everyone? Okay. Okay, then please come to EC2 dashboard. On dashboard, you have running instance, right? So you have RHL8. So just know it's there in place. Now you go to PuTTY and try it. So I have this RHL8 already. I had created. I'll just load it. Vikas, can you relate to this?
Yeah, for me now it's coming. Key is not cached in registry.
Yeah, say yes and then it will come.
Okay.
So in PuTTY, only in PuTTY I'll click, right? Or PuTTY Gen?
PuTTY Gen is only one time just for creating PPK, right? PuTTY for this PuTTY is a tool to connect to your instance. PuTTY Gen is a tool only to convert the PEM format to PPK. That is one time. So once we created, now we'll use PPK, and using this PuTTY, we will connect to our server, which is running in EC2.
So this IP which you have given, this is a public
This-
IP. I'll take it from here, right?
Yeah, you please take it from the console EC2 dashboard.
Harish, I have one doubt.
Yes, please.
After opening PuTTY, I'm not getting this RHL8.
Did you create it?
I created last time.
Did you save it?
Yeah, I saved
Once
it.
you saved, did it come down here?
Yeah, it came.
Now you just cancel it and then open PuTTY again.
Okay, just a second.
Even for me, it's the same.
Not coming? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it happens.
For me now it's coming. Yeah, after opening again it's coming.
Okay,
For me,
please
it is
try.
not coming.
Yeah.
Harish.
For some of the client PuTTY, no, it may not come, right? So because earlier I also faced with multiple versions and multiple PuTTYs, so it may not be the case, right? So this saving option may not come. Some bug will be there. So no, depends on which version it is. So not an issue. Don't worry about that. So you
Shall
just
I write
open.
again? RHEL.
So then again you have to add the key. Simply go to SSH, right? No, open this. Go to auth. Add the key here.
1 second, Harish.
Yeah.
Auth.
Yes. Click on auth. Browse for your key. Is it there anyways? Not there?
It is not opening. Auth is not coming.
You have to just click on auth. You don't have to open.
I'm not getting this option auth itself.
In SSH it will be. SSH will be in connection.
Okay, in SSH auth.
Connection.
Okay. Yeah, there is
SSH.
no file.
Auth. Okay. You
Uh-huh.
just browse and just choose that PPK. That's it.
Okay.
Harish, I got the error. No supported authentication methods available
Where?
after connecting.
Connecting to what?
Yeah, in Putty I gave RHEL and then I clicked on open. Then I got this error as no supported authentication methods available.
Ranjita, right?
Apeksha.
Apeksha, sorry. So Apeksha, just close that and again you please come here.
Yeah.
Me also closing.
Come to auth. Do you have key there?
Yeah, I have that.
Okay, then you just come to session.
Just a second.
Yes.
I closed it.
Come to session. You have to select this and load. You might not have loaded it. So your keys will not be loaded. If you load it.
Session and I loaded it.
Okay, you loaded, then some IP will come. That IP should match with the public IP. Is it coming?
Yeah, it's matching.
Matching. Then you click on open. It should come like this. Or it should ask for username if you have not specified. Please try.
Now I'm getting that error only. No supported authentication methods available.
No supported authentication method available. Can you share your screen?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second.
Harish, it is like for me, the server host key is not cached in the registry. Shall I click on yes?
Yes, please. Then you will get the server. It will connect for you. Apeksha, maybe you have option to share.
Yeah.
Please share.
Harish, after doing that, once IP will match with the running instance, so I will open it, right?
Yeah, just load that. If it is saved, load it. Otherwise, just add the key and just click on put IP and simply say open. It will work.
Harish, I'm still not able to share the screen. You cannot share the screen.
Yeah,
It is
saying I
saying
have to make you
security alert. It is giving, okay.
Yeah, I'll just connect to each of one of your system and then I'll just fix. So Peksha, I'm just giving you rights.
Okay.
I'm making you host. I made you host. Okay, so now you are host, so you can start sharing your screen.
Yeah.
Please let me know if it works.
Yeah, Harish. Now you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting this error.
Okay, no problem. Just close this. Say okay. Close that window. Okay. So show me where is your PPK file. PPK.
This one only.
No, that is PEM. Where is PPK? You didn't create PPK?
In the Putty Gen, right? I created that, Harish.
Where is PPK? Just look for it. Is it there? No, you have to load that PPK actually.
Yeah, it is there. It is there. Here it is there.
It didn't come properly. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just close this window. On desktop you have created, right? So, okay.
Yeah.
Close this and then go to Putty. Go to Putty. So just there in Putty, you have double click. Okay. Now click on connection. SSH. You have SSH plus SSH plus. You click auth. You click auth. Now see, go to browse.
Okay.
Go to desktop.
This.
Yeah, you have this, no? Here, right side, it was there already. Okay, go to Linux PPK file.
Okay.
Now it is not showing like, no, properly. Okay, double click. Okay, now you go to, on the first one, just scroll up,
Hmm.
session. Put the IP here from the server. Don't load anything. Don't load anything. Yes, good, very good. Paste it. Yeah, say open. Click on open.
I should create a.
No, nothing now.
Okay.
Click on open. Yes, say EC2 hyphen user.
Hmm.
Enter. No supported authentication method available. Server sent public key authentication method. Some error is coming here. Okay, you say okay. Oh, this one. It's asking for username, but I think something wrong with that PPK. So just delete that file. So please go there and delete that file. It's not even
PPK
showing
file,
right
right?
format. Yeah, PPK file is not good actually. Something wrong. Yeah, delete that.
Hmm.
Okay, let's open that Putigen again. And you have session input, that also will delete. Yeah, double click Putigen. Go to load, no generate. Yes, click on load. Now you go to PEM file that you had format. You had PEM. That PEM. Amazon EC2 PEM. First one. Which one you had done?
That one I have confusion.
Which one you used now? I think second one you used.
Yeah.
See, the timestamp says that 221 you created that above one. So go to above. Go to above one. Yes.
Okay.
Go to that. No, enter. Yeah, open. So okay, say okay. Now you say save private key. Save private key. Yeah, that one. Say yes. Now you just go to PPK file in the left. You have down. Yeah, PPK file. Yeah, here you just give some name. Just say small RHEL 8. Okay, say save. Okay, now simply what you have to do is what? Close this window.
Go to Putty.
Go and check if you have it there. Wherever you created that icon, is it able to recognize your windows?
No, it is still coming like this only.
Okay. Linux PPK file is not.
For me also, the icon is not coming, Harish.
But it is connecting, right? Working?
Yeah, I am able to connect.
Okay, no problem. Windows only not able to recognize. Okay, let's go to Putty.
I have got a big time error showing the server's host key is not.
Okay, we'll see that. We'll see. No problem. So just go to that Putty.
Yeah.
Just paste that. Just delete this RHL8, whatever you had created earlier. Delete. Okay. Now you go to connection SSH. Click on Auth. Browse. Choose the new one, whatever you have created. Yeah, double click. Correct only. Double click. Yeah. Now you go to session again. On the top. Session. Okay. Here you just just keep some name RHEL. Simply say RHEL. Okay. Now you say save. Okay. That's it. No need to do anything. Just click on open. Give EC2 hyphen user. Enter. See, it worked, right?
Yeah.
That delete that earlier older key that you had PEM, no?
Okay.
That
Maybe.
older PEM is not valid actually. That is maybe older one. Earlier we might have done, no?
Okay.
Or that
maybe.
might be for Windows. Just keep it. So don't delete. That may be for Windows.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So now you can make Urvashi host. Urvashi, you are facing some issue?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what.
No problem. We'll do that. So, Apeksha, please make Urvashi host.
Yeah. Yes, I shall do that.
Sure. Urvashi, your system? No. Okay, once you're host, please let me know. Please try to share your screen.
Make host. Yeah, I did it, Harish.
Okay, so you're Urvashi, you are host. Now you can share
Yes,
your.
here. It's coming
Say
like
yes. Yeah, say yes.
say yes for this.
Yeah, say yes. Okay, close this. Okay, say okay, close this. No problem. Now show me the PPK where we have created.
This one.
Okay, and this you used from which PEM you created this? Go to AWS directory. On top only. Yeah, click on that. Which one you used? This one you used?
Yeah.
This one looks like no, not the right one. You should have one more. Just check. You have one more.
This one I had. This
Okay.
one I had.
This is also saying 115, so may not be the right one. You have anywhere else? Just check .pem. It's not there. We'll try with that. Check in download maybe.
Yeah, it's in download. So it was
Okay. This is 115 timestamp. See if anywhere else on desktop.
Desktop, I didn't.
Okay. Go to search.
I think Harish, she can connect. It was showing some remote connection error. She can just open the putty again and
Yeah.
it was a network issue actually.
Okay, we'll see then.
Can we open putty again?
Yeah, should be. We'll try that then.
Or else, Harish, I think I was also getting the same error. So maybe her IP address, right? IP address maybe.
Just select RHELite load and open.
Yeah, let's see again. A couple of times. Oh, that was network issue only. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Fine. Then this is also resolved. Now, who else is having issue? You can make me host maybe if no one.
No, yeah.
Everyone, it worked right for everyone, right?
Yeah.
So please, make me host. Urvashi. Okay. So let me share my screen. Fine. So now that we all are connected here, right, to this server, to our server using PuTTY, right? So you just need to practice it, right? Whenever you get time, so just try to connect it, right? Just open PuTTY, right? So what I was telling, sorry, this is PuTTY then opened. Just use PuTTY, right? And then what we were doing, we simply whatever next day you want to try, so it may not. No, you can give auto login username. You can go to that and give auto login username, so you don't have to enter that EC2-user also. So you see nothing, no IP or something coming. So what I will do, key already there. I have saved it. So my key is saved. So if key is not saved for you, you can simply browse and you can do that. So here for me session RHEL8. If I say load, when I say load, if I go see my key is there, right? Earlier it was not there. So like this, if I say load, then everything will come, key will be loaded. Simply I have to match my IP address with the public IP. If it is matching, simply I say open, so it should work. Okay. Fine, all are comfortable in connecting to EC2 Linux instance using PuTTY?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So what we will do here is, we will try to do something here in the system. So just try sudo su dash, everyone. You see, now you became root. Which root? What is root? Who knows?
For me, it is showing user IP only.
Showing EC2-user, right? You just run this command.
Sudo.
Yeah.
What is this for? Sudo.
Sudo su dash. You just run like this. You'll switch to root user. You'll get the privileges of root user. You'll be switching from one user to another user.
Command not found. It is showing.
Just type, see if you are doing any typo there. sudo space su space dash.
sudo space su
Space dash.
hyphen.
Root is administrator kind of thing, Harish.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Because that is how we have administrator in Windows, right?
Yeah.
So like that only. So this root is a super user, right?
Okay.
So this root is the boss of this particular system. Nobody, is above that. So root is the super user with all the capacity, most privileged user, right? So now we have switched to root account, right? So we'll try to do something. This is, you can see cat /etc/ star hyphen. See release. See this is like Red Hat Enterprise Linux, right? So version is 8.2 Utpa. This is name of that version. So 8.2 is installed here. Red Hat. No, so this is Red Hat operating system. You can see like this. See cat. I did like this, or you can say like cat.
So it is showing no such file or directory.
You might have not given it
Cat.
correctly. You just give like this Red Hat hyphen release. You give like this, or in place of Red Hat, you can give asterisk.
No, I've given this cat /etc/
See, I'll just give you one idea. What you do is you simply say slash and then you say etc, then you put a slash, then you say red, and then you do a tab.
Okay.
See, after you type red, just press tab on your machine.
Cat space /
Simply put like this /etc/red and then do a tab. Press tab.
Okay.
Then you see Red Hat came, hyphen came. This is called command line completion. So automatically it will find there, it will help you. Now you say RE. Now you what?
Still it is saying there is no file.
No, you should not press enter. Did I press enter?
No.
So once it is Red Hat like this, you did tab, this much came. Now you say RE and press a tab again. So you can avoid typo. So whatever is the file name mentioned there, when you say tab, automatically it will be completed. That command line completion will happen. So command line is completed means successfully it will come with a space here, right? Then you press enter. See what it is showing, right?
Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8.2.
Yes. So this is your operating system. You can say clear, just type clear, or say like you just type CLE and then do a tab. Just do CLE, do a tab. Clear will come. That means that is the right command. So there is option for command line completion. This is actually bash. Actually bash, bin bash. So this is bash, right? So this is bash shell, right? So you might have heard about shell scripting, right? So this is bash shell. So this shell is the interpreter here. Whatever command you are giving, that will be interpreted to the kernel, right? So whatever command you are running here, this is bash shell. So in bash shell, you have support for command line completion, right? So we'll be using this feature, command line completion feature, right? So now what we can do here is, we can try to install or check whether any software or something is there related to, we can do some testing, right? So say like you do RPM -QA pipe HTTP something. So if you just see this RPM command is just to check whether some RPM is there related to HTTP or not. So there is some libng HTTP2 something. So some RPM. So this is Red Hat Package Manager. You have some packages. If you install packages, then what will happen? That package will give you some commands, some configuration file. It can give you some kind of service, so you can run that service. So you all might have heard about web service. So using the particular web service, you might have heard about IIS in Windows, right? So you have some kind of like that only. You might have heard about Apache, right? So there is something like HTTP. Anybody heard HTTP? Hypertext Transfer Protocol.
Yeah, Harish.
Okay, so we have a package called HTTPD. We have a package here in Linux that is called HTTPD. That is not installed here. So what I did, I said RPM-QA pipe grep HTTPD. Then it says it's not there. See, if nothing comes means command has run successfully. Nothing is there to show. So Linux would be silent. So silent means its command has run successfully, no error, nothing. It's not there, nothing to show, so it will be silent. Okay, so silent means all good, but no output, no output here. Now what you have to do is there is another thing called yum. So this is yum for doing package management. Yum is used for package management. See, in Windows you saw some time ago MSI something was there, you can install, right? So here yum is there. Yum is a package manager here. What is yum?
Package manager.
Package manager. What we do with package manager? We can install some software here. What we can do?
Sorry.
What we can do, Ranjita, using yum?
You said that we can install the software, but
Yeah, so this yum is a tool. This yum is a utility on Linux machine using which we can install a software. Right?
oh, it's like a keyword. It is like using this yum. We are installing software through
Using
command
yum.
prompt.
Yeah,
Okay.
from command prompt we are installing instead of going right click this that from the graphical user interface, right? So mostly we will be working in Linux environment. It would be based on command. So this is CLI, right? Command line interface. So this is that was once we tried was AWS command line interface. This is Linux command line interface, right? So what we do here is we install, right, some kind of software here. So what we want to install is, you all can try this. Just say yum install HTTPD, all of you. You all are root, you should be root.
Yeah.
So see, if you run ID, it should show root. It should show root. UID is 0, GID is 0. Like that it should show, right? So here you have, so you are root. So what you have to do here is yum install HTTPD. So this is a web service. What is HTTPD? Web service. You can host a website on your server, but if you want to host a website, you need to have some service running there, right? Correct? So that web service should be running there. Then only you can host a website, right? So now we are installing the packages, right? The important files which will be helping you to host your website on this server. So that package needs to be installed. So in this machine, on the EC2 Linux machine, we are installing the packages related to web service, right? So this HTTPD is what it will give you? A service. It will give you a service. For what? For running your website. Everyone please type this command, yum install HTTPD.
Yeah.
Good. So now what you can do here, press enter. Once you press enter, you should see some output. Let me know if everyone see that.
Yes, Harish, I can see that.
Anybody did not get this?
Got it.
Everyone got it right?
Yeah.
Now we have to say small y. Before saying y, you just see these are the dependencies resolved. So using RPM command also you can install a package, but if you use yum, it will resolve all the dependency. So what all things needed? If you need HTTPD package, then this is also needed, this is also needed, this is also needed, that is also needed, this is also needed. So these many packages, so 10 packages are needed altogether. HTTP won't work alone. It requires some dependencies. Without dependencies, no, it cannot work. So it's like resolving the dependency. So this yum is a very good tool, right? In SUSE Linux, you'll have YAST tool, YAST 2, like that. So here you have yum. This is very good tool. This will automatically resolve any dependency, what is needed there for that package. Now, this package might require some other additional package. That package may require some other. So there can be multiple dependency. If you start installing manually, it will be hectic. So now this is all will be right. No, you just say yes and press enter. Then see what is happening.
It's trying to install.
For me, it's installed only.
Complete. Yeah.
Yeah. All of you, once the installation is done, please let me know.
Yeah. Yes, Harish, it is done.
Done.
For everyone, it got installed?
Yeah.
Yes, Harish, it is done.
Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. Now see, I was trying one command earlier whether my packages are installed here related to Apache. Nothing was
So
coming.
where it is installing, Harish?
In the system, in your Linux EC2 instance.
Okay.
Yeah. So in this machine, it got installed in the hard disk.
Okay.
Okay, in hard disk in different path. So that I will show you where it got installed. That also I'll show you. No problem. So you see here, when you say RPM-QA, grep HTTPD, earlier I was doing, it was not giving me anything.
RPM-QA.
See, I was doing RPM-QA, grep HTTPD. See, nothing was coming. No, you see, nothing was coming. Now I run the same command after installing my packages. When I say RPM-QA, pipe grep HTTPD, it's showing me that, oh, this HTTPD 2.4, HTTPD -tools package, -file system. So a lot of things related to HTTPD has been installed here. All are on the same page?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now what happens is this package is installed on everyone's machine. Now you have to start some service. If service runs, that only can host our website, right?
I did this, RPM-QA. This.
This didn't work for you?
No, it
No
is.
problem. I'll tell you. What is the command here? RPM space -QA space pipe. This is pipe symbol.
RPM space
Hyphen QA together. Then you put a space. Then you put a pipe symbol with shift. No, you will have one pipe symbol. Straight, no, straight vertical bar. You have to use that.
Yeah.
Then put space and then mention grep space HTTPD.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Coming right. So this is to know whether the package is installed in your machine or not. Am I clear? Okay, good. So package has been installed. So if you want to run something, if you want to achieve something, so first thing is to install the packages. So you have installed the packages. After installing the packages, you have to start the service also, right? Right? So, and you should have something also for service to do. So you just see whether service is running by default. After installing package, each service running by default. So there is a command systemctl status, right? And the name of the service. Just see. So this is a command, right? You don't have to worry about this command as of now. Just learn how to do this. So once you learn, if you want to learn about the commands, how Linux works and all, so then you can easily you can do this. However, for now, whatever commands I'm giving, just focus attention there, note it down, right? For doing this particular thing, this command should be enough for you. But if you pay extra attention, you can relate to it, and you can do a number of things only with this type of command. So what I am doing here is, there is something called systemctl. First I am writing, and then I am saying status. Status means I want to see the status of this service. So the name of the service, I'm telling it to the kernel, that just let me know whether my service is running or not, what is the status of my service, and what is the name of my service, httpd.service. See what it says, httpd.service, the Apache httpd server loaded, and then active, it says inactive, dead. So it's inactive and dead, it's not running actually. Okay, so it's not running, my service is not running. So what I would like to do some configuration and start my service. Correct? No? That's what I should do, right?
Yeah.
So what we can do is, we have directory, everyone. With cd command, you can go to where www.ht, just type tab. See, it will complete. Simply if you say 2w, right? If you are typing it correctly, then this command line should complete. You simply say WVA, if you say V and then if you say 2 tab, it will complete if it is only one directory. So where, if you say www, it will complete. That means you are good. You say HTML and then press tab, it will complete. That means we are good. Press enter.
Harish, after that docs, this thing, whatever we got, no command, I'm getting as lines 1 to 4 of 4 end.
Where?
In the command prompt only. I'm not getting this root thing.
Press Q.
Apache, you press Q.
Yeah. Yeah, now I'm getting.
You're getting?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so now you just everyone go to this directory and see print working directory. This command you run and tell me which directory you are in. You cd to this directory, change to this directory. Cd means change to the directory. Which directory you are going to, where www, how from your desktop, you click on desktop, then you click on the internal folder, then you click inside, right? So like that you have cd command, right? So directly, if you give the path, it will go to that particular directory. So simply it is going to that directory. So you went to that directory and then you say print working directory. What is my working directory? Please let me know.
Harish, 1 second. I guess I have missed something in it. This HTTPD service hyphen the Apache HTTP server I have not created. So there will be some issue.
No, this is not to do anything. Just like this was just to show you that this service is not running. That's it.
Okay.
But if you try this, then you will come to know that at least this Apache HTTP server is there, which is not running. So at least you will be sure, you will gain some confidence.
Okay.
So you just run it.
Okay.
Type
So
it.
what I do?
Simply type systemctl
System
space status space HTTP.
But it is in HTML. I have did this HTML thing. So can I type now also?
What HTML?
I mean, I have done the cd space var.
Doesn't matter. This is a command which can be run from anywhere.
Achha.
System-wide command. So this is to see the status of my service from anywhere you can run, not an issue.
Service. Okay.
Okay, it's showing like this dead.
No,
Okay.
it's dead.
Okay, perfect. So now you are all just do PWD.
Line now it is nothing is coming. It says line 1-4 hyphen by 4 is end. What is it?
Q. You should click on Q. Then I
Q.
got that only. Yeah. Wait.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay.
Got it. CD or HTML.
Now do PWD. See if you are there in where WWW HTML.
Yeah, I'm there.
Everyone.
Yeah, PWD.
So
Enter, right?
Yeah, enter. It will show you the current working directory. Everyone there? Perfect. So now what you have to do is now just put some configuration, or what you do, you can start without configuration also. So just now here, just same command, copy paste, and in place of status, just say START, start.
Which one you have taken? System add.
This systemctl status HTTPD we had done, no? Same thing you copy paste, and then in place of status, just move with the left arrow, and in place of status, just remove that last three, TUS, and then you make it RT, start. You have to make it start, and then press enter.
Start space and enter, right?
Yeah, just write system start space httpd.service and then press enter. Everyone?
Yeah.
All are there?
Yes.
Now use up arrow.
If there is two space, then
doesn't matter, any space you can give, not an issue. Space is not significant here, and you can run enter from anywhere. See, I put so many spaces, doesn't matter. It will show me status. See, now it's showing me status.
But for me, I have done that's the same thing, right?
You did start, then nothing came, right? You got your command prompt back, right?
Yeah.
Now you type up arrow, you try, and then you will see that there is another command that you had run earlier, systemctl status httpd.service.
Yeah, systemctl start PWD.
Status. You had this command, no, status earlier. We had tried.
Yeah.
So go back with up arrow in the history. So if you go back with up arrow, and whenever you see this command, as soon as this systemctl status httpd.service, pause there. By mistake, if you go up one more, then come down with down arrow.
Okay.
You can use like this, up arrow, down arrow, up arrow. So now once you are comfortable, you get this command systemctl status httpd.service, press enter. Now you see everyone getting active running.
Yeah.
Just pay some attention and look at it. What does it show?
Since Saturday, the time is showing from when it is active.
What else? Just see here. What does it show here?
Harish, for me, it is like it just it is not showing anything like this. It is just coming to the next line when I start.
No, after start, it will simply give you the prompt back.
Oh, you are checking the status. Okay.
Yeah. So that is the feature of Linux, that it will not be chatty. This command prompt won't be chatty. So it won't be talking, oh, I have started your services, now you can enjoy with your service. So all those things it will not tell. Simply you say systemctl start http.service, it will simply give you back the command prompt. That means everything is good. If something wrong, then it will complain.
Okay.
So once you did start, it started, and you can see with up arrow, you can go and see the status. Just see everyone getting this. Vikas, running for you, right?
Yeah, Harish.
Good. So what I wanted to show you here is it's listening on port number 80. Remember this. Listening on port number 80. So this is HTTP port number 80. So just remember that. Everyone here, then press Q, and you are here, right? Now what you do is create a file. So you say VI. So VI is an editor. How you have MS Word, Notepad, like that. VI is a command line editor. So just press, type VI space, right, and index.html. You remember everyone, last time we were hosting static website on S3.
Yeah.
So we were creating some index.html there in S3. Now we need to do the same thing here on EC2, right? And we will run our website on our own server, right? So there it was just some static website. Here you can do whatever you wish. This is your server, right? So you can run any type of website, whatever you wish. You can do all the configuration, and then you can do it from your EC2 instance, your server, from your server. So you have a lot of control, right, in running your website here. So simply say vi index.html and press enter.
Harish, I just gave VI and I just pressed.
After vi only you pressed enter?
Yeah.
No problem. Just what you can do is, in your keyboard, you have escape button, right? Press escape one time. Then with shift, you press colon. Shift, colon. And you say Q, small q, and then you can simply press enter. You will be outside it.
No write since last change.
Yeah. So you came out. You got your command prompt back.
No, not it.
See, I do vi, press enter. You got like this or what?
Yeah, I got like this, and I just typed I.
Oh, you already did I. Okay. Okay, no problem. Now what you do, you just press escape, then shift, colon, then Q, then you do exclamation. This time it will come.
Exclamation. Yeah, now it came.
Okay, no problem.
For me, it is showing new file till new file. This.
So you don't have to press enter after vi. Just like you give vi space index.html, please.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you will get something like this new file. This is everyone. If you get like this, then please let me know.
Yeah, Harish.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we'll do what Ranjita did, right? Ranjita, you did I, right?
No, actually, I wanted to go to I wanted to go back to the command. So I just pressed Q. It is showing recording at Q.
No, you didn't press colon. You have to press colon, and then you have to press Q, and then exclamation you do. You're getting my point. You just look at this colon. You see my screen?
Yeah, but now I should go back, right? I made, it's like vi index.html. It showed new file, and then I just pressed Q. I wanted to go back.
No problem. Whatever you have done, just press escape, couple of times. Press escape, and then you do Q, colon, Q, exclamation.
So after escape, I should do colon, Q, exclamation mark,
That's
enter. Yeah, I got back.
Okay. So everyone, right, please type vi index.html and wait for the instructions. You will be here on this page, right, where it will show that index.html new file. Everyone?
Yeah. Yes, Harish.
Yeah.
Anybody faced issue till now in this page? No, no, you reached, everyone reached this page? Okay, so now you press I. As soon as you press I one time, it will show you insert. Everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now what you do is type there something, whatever you want. So you will become comfortable with this VI editor as well, right? So this VI editor is really a very powerful, very good editor, given by Unix and Linux. So simply, you just type here whatever you wish, HTML. Be careful, don't press any other button or something, right? So simply type like this, some HTML, right? Some kind of whatever you want to create your website. Simply few lines you just type. So like this you can do that. Remember last time we were doing this HTML, we were typing, right? So this is like EC2 website. This is EC2.
Harish, one second. Here, this new after new file, if I entered, nothing is coming in my window.
Did you press I?
No.
You press I, then it will show insert, then you can type. That
Then
will be
again,
insert.
I have to network error, software caused connection abort. It's coming.
Okay, some network issue happened, looks like. So you lost connection to your instance?
I have no idea.
So you like your putty, that window is not there in front of you now?
It is there.
But it is
But
accepting any command?
I'm not able to give any command.
Okay, that means just try to ping to the network. You may be having network disconnection. Just go to command line from your system. Just do CMD, and then you just try to ping some google.com like that. You just try to ping. It should give you like in 30 milliseconds or 40 milliseconds you are able to reach out to the Google. So if it is working, that means you are good. You can try to reconnect.
What should I give here?
Just ping -t google.com.
-t.
Yeah, T if you give, then it will unlimited time it will ping.
Hyphen space T, right?
No space.
Okay. -t google.com.
Yeah, put space and then google.com.
T is not recognized as internal or external command.
You might have given space or something.
T.
I'll show you. I'll show you. Just see here, then you try.
Okay.
Ping -t,
Ping.
right? Google.com.
Ping space hyphen, right?
Yeah, or you just give ping google.com. That's it. Not needed.
Ping google.com. Ping space google.com.
Yeah.
Pinging google.com. 32 byte. It is 0% loss. Minimum 12, maximum 12.
Connecting, right? 0% loss, right? That means your connection is good. You try to connect again.
So here I have to do, in this putty.
Yeah, I'll just tell you. 1 second.
My cursor is not there actually.
No, cursor is not needed there. You have to type.
Huh?
See.
I don't have to type anything.
Okay, I'll help you out. No worries. I'll just make you host. Urvashi, right?
Yeah.
I'll just make you host, right? So you can do that. Not an issue. I just made you host. You can share the screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
This will stop other screen sharing. Do you want to continue?
Yeah, it's okay.
So it is coming like this. Here it.
No problem. Yeah, see that. Just come this left side. Yeah. Just bring this window left side. See on the top, you see putty has become inactive, right? Yeah. Yeah. So putty has become inactive means you have lost the connection to the server. Whatever server, see, because this is your client, right? So from the machine, you are trying to get the connection of the server, which is running on EC2. So now it has become inactive, means there was a network connection issue or something. Because of that, your connection is lost. So you have nothing, you cannot do anything here other than crossing that cross button then on the right side top, cross it.
Yeah.
Yes, now you run putty.exe again and then load this RHEL8. Okay, so it's same IP address, right? So that all things should come. Already it will come. Everything will come. Once you load, everything will be good. Simply say open. Yeah. See, you got it right.
Yeah. Now what I have to do?
Sudo. Just see if you have history. Just run history and enter. Type history command. Enter. It's not there. Gone. So by default it is not saved. Now you do sudo space su space dash. Enter. Okay, good. So now you became root. Correct? No? See, in the left side it's showing root.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Just run id command. id. Enter. See, it's showing root uid 0 gid 0, right? So let's pause here. Let's take a break for 15 minutes. And once we get back, so what we will do, we'll create a file, right? And then we will post our website there. Okay. So let's take a break for 15 minutes. Let's meet at 11:45.
Okay.
You can make me okay. You can remain host, not an issue. Okay.
Okay.
Remain host. So we'll come back and we'll begin from here itself.
Okay.
Okay. Fine. Then you can stop sharing if you wish, and you can again come back. Right. So let me see if I have recording. I can stop.